Picture this. You're watching the latest summer batch of games announcements, maybe at a watch party on someone's couch, or alone in the dark, surrounded by a mountain of snacks. Hey, no judgment. We've all been there. Then a cool game gets announced and you spend every waking moment obsessing over each new trailer and update that drops about your new most wanted game. Then the trailers dry up, followed by silence. You try to convince yourself it's fine that you haven't heard from the devs in years because they're obviously very busy. And then, finally, it becomes clear that the game is neither finished nor cancelled, but a worse third thing. It's stuck in the fiery depths of development hell, trapped in an eternally incomplete state. So I'm here to break the news about these next games that, I'm calling it, are currently languishing in development hell, just in case you were holding on to hope. Sorry.
The corporations gave us solutions. A better world. And we welcome them into our lives.
Much like Perfect Dark itself, the development of the Perfect Dark remake has been shrouded in a cloak of mystery and intrigue. Launched in the year 2000, the original Perfect Dark was a highly acclaimed first-person shooter from the makers of the eternally beloved GoldenEye 007, in which you play cat-suited super spy Joanna Dark. 2 decades later, the remake was announced at the Games Awards with a teaser trailer from dev studio The Initiative that showed a whole load of nothing.
Did you find the answers you were looking for, Agent Dark?
Not yet. This is just the beginning.
That was neither perfect nor dark. Not only did we have to swallow that giant nothing burger, but it also set us up for a long, torturous wait for further news. In the 4 years since the announcement, the only updates we've received on the Perfect Dark remake have been the studio's partnership with the folks at Crystal Dynamics, who are ostensibly co-developing the game, plus a bunch of high-profile departures from the team. Nothing gets me hyped like high-profile departures. More recently, a report from IGN shared the frustrating news that the project has made little meaningful progress since that trailer in 2020, and the project has hit roadblock after roadblock. You know what can't be stopped by a roadblock? My hype train. Toot toot. With the total lack of positive updates, I wouldn't count on ripping around with your laptop gun or stalking the deepest depths of the Skidar ruins before 2026 at the earliest. I, for one, will definitely have not lost interest by then. Toot toot.
It's about bloody time. Let's see what we've got.
Paging, can we get that text on screen please? All Beyond Good and Evil fans, it might be time to give up on the sequel pipe dream for the foreseeable future. Paging? This character's name is Paige. The original game, legendary among its fans, came out in 2003. You played as charming photojournalist Jade, who used her skills of sleuthing and martial artistry to uncover a disturbing alien conspiracy. And no, we don't mean like the people trying to Naruto run into Area 51. Although the original Beyond Good and Evil wasn't a commercial smash, it quickly became a cult hit, to the point the publisher Ubisoft saw fit to greenlight a sequel and announce it in 2008 with a cinematic trailer of a pig snorting a wasp, as enticing an image as it sounds. And then we heard basically nothing for nearly a decade, until at E3 2017, Ubi dropped a new trailer, re-revealing Beyond Good and Evil 2, now a prequel to the original game, with a flash cinematic trailer. We all agreed this was very exciting, and more fool us, when we got a second, even flashier trailer the following year, we dared to hope Beyond Good and Evil might someday be real.
Jade.
Things went sideways when, after a flurry of developer live streams in 2018, some with honest-to-goodness actual gameplay from an early build, The updates petered out, and ever since, Ubisoft have been frustratingly vague on the timeline for us getting our hands on the BGE prequel of our dreams. In fact, in 2022, Beyond Good and Evil 2 became the video game with the longest development in history, surpassing even Duke Nukem Forever, which took 14 years to struggle over the finish line. And say what you like about Duke Nukem Forever, no one can deny that it is, unlike Beyond Good and Evil 2, a video game that exists. Box quote for you there. If you are desperate to pal around with Jade and Paige again, you'll have to console yourself for now with the remastered Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition due out this year, which is, let me check, 21 years after the original. Yeah, that tracks.
As part of the venerable Metroid series, Metroid Prime is the first-person 3D sub-series that, starting with Metroid Prime 1 on the GameCube in 2002, put us inside the helmet of Samus Aran's power suit. Now, the first three Metroid Prime games came out in quick succession, with Metroid Prime 2 in 2004 and Metroid Prime 3 in 2007, but since then, the only Prime we've had is the viral energy drink that kept me awake and alert throughout 2022. What a year! Got a lot done!
You've slept since, right?
What's that, talking bottle of Prime? Nintendo first unveiled Metroid Prime 4 at E3 2017, with an announcement trailer that was less a trailer and more a giant number 4 floating in space. Which wouldn't have been so bad if the game had then proceeded to be made and released, which, friends, it was not. In 2019, Nintendo announced that they weren't satisfied with how development was going at Bandai Namco, so they scrapped their progress and restarted it with Retro Studios, the developer behind the previous Primes. And since then, crickets. This all bodes pretty terribly for Metroid Prime 4, a fact that even 2021's surprisingly scary Metroid Dread couldn't make us forget. See? Nothing, because I'm still thinking about Metroid Prime 4. Or possibly because I've damaged my adrenaline receptors with too many energy drinks. Either way, nice try, Nintendo.
Hi, I'm Chris Roberts. Ever since I saw Star Wars as a wide-eyed 8-year-old, I dreamt of being a hotshot pilot saving the galaxy, or a lovable rogue making my way across the cosmos. It inspired me to make Wing Commander and has influenced everything I've done since then. 10 years ago, after 20 years of making games, I was burned out, so I took a break. But I never stopped playing games nor loving them. And now, I'm ready to come back, and I'd like to show you something I've been working on.
There's never been a game quite like Star Citizen, and possibly there never will be a game quite like Star Citizen. Given that 12 years after this fabulously ambitious space sim MMO debuted on Kickstarter, and 10 years after it blew through its originally intended launch date, it remains as unfinished as this sentence I'm currently. This isn't to say development hasn't been happening. By all accounts, development on Star Citizen is happening out the wazoo in developer Cloud Imperium studios all over the world. But epic ambitions, plus feature creep, plus hundreds of millions of crowdfunding dollars make for a sprawling, evolving project with multiple complex parts, but no actual release date at time of writing. A large and hungry Star Citizen community playing the alpha testing version of the game and shelling out for its DLC shows the appetite for its massively multiplayer melange of realistic space sim, space combat and space trading endures, even as other disillusioned and skeptical supporters have backed off over the years. How much longer will they have to wait for Star Citizen to emerge from its alpha and early access phases as Star Citizen 1.0? No one is saying, and no sensible person is betting, but in March, Chief Exec Chris Roberts did write that they are ready to finally push for the finish line. Which is almost as good as a commercial release date, isn't it?
Peace is a lie. That is what the Sith believe. They promise power. Now they wield it.
Larian's Baldur's Gate 3 has been showered with praise, Game of the Year awards, and racy fan art like nobody's business. And for good reason.
You know, I've always been an admirer of the physical form. Necks, ribs, thighs. Don't make me choose a favorite.
Oh, I'm going to be a while. It's likely you've sunk 100+ hours into romancing anyone who would give you the time of day and making complex moral decisions, and now that it's over, you perhaps like me have been left with a Baldur's Gate 3 shaped hole in your heart. My doctor says it's not fatal, and to get out of her office. With your rekindled love of the genre and chatting up your party members, now would be the perfect time, you might think, to revisit the revered BioWare RPG, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, especially when there's a graphically overhauled PS5 remake on the cards. Well, we hate to be the ones to break it to you, but the Knights of the Old Republic remake that was unveiled back in 2021 has gone seriously AWOL since this reveal trailer, featuring the iconic Jennifer Hale, original voice of Bastila Shan.
We face the greatest Sith in generations. They must be stopped.
Femshep in Star Wars? That gives me an idea for some fan art. Of the very few updates we've had on the game since, the bad news is that the remake was put on pause in 2022 when Aspyr, the studio originally assigned development duty, fired the art director and design director, and was then itself taken off the project, which went to studio Saber Interactive. The slightly better and very recent news is that Saber Interactive has since been sold by shady giant games conglomerate Embracer Group and taken Knights of the Old Republic along with it. So maybe someday you'll get to smooch Bastila Shan in 4K. But probably not soon. At least we'll always have my drawings.
One thing I love about Hollow Knight fans is every time a games showcase rolls around, you folks are front and centre, loudly hoping, wishing and pleading for Silksong. You still show up to the Indie Worlds and the Nintendo Directs with hope in your heart for this longed-for sequel to 2017's Hollow Knight, and every time you're left empty-handed. That's the kind of resilience and optimism this world needs, and I salute it. And yet, I can't help but notice we're still not playing Silksong, some 5 years after the game was announced. Now, developing an entire video game is no small feat, and Team Cherry, the studio behind Hollow Knight, is the smallest on this list, and I've no doubt that comes with challenges of its own. But when in 2022 Hollow Knight Silksong won the Unity Award for Most Anticipated Game, the dev team accepted their accolade by saying, "It can't be too much longer, surely." Surely? You tell me, Team Cherry! With the game having sailed past its previously slated 2023 release window, there's precious little to go on with Silksong, except for a general "it'll be ready when it's ready" vibe. But given its total absence from the very recent Nintendo Indie World Showcase, it may not be time to hold your breath. Don't do it, Hollow Knight fans. The world needs you.
So you probably figured out that you need to drink blood. You can't just do whatever you want. Cities are carved up by political factions. Never tell anyone about what you are. See, vampires are extremely territorial. Unwittingly poach in someone's territory and suddenly whip! We have one rule. You don't break the masquerade.
You'd be forgiven for thinking Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 had come out already. After all, in the 5 years since it was announced, we've had myriad games come out attached to the same Vampire the Masquerade IP, including 2 visual novels, 4 interactive fiction games, a VR game, a battle royale, and an RPG. That can get confusing.
I'm a monster. What about you?
Now, that wasn't Bloodlines 2, but this is, or rather was, the first look that we had back in 2019. The fact is, this highly anticipated sequel to the 2004 cult classic got somewhat stalled over the course of development, along a rocky road of delays and senior staff firings that came after those tantalizing early looks.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of your death. Having fun yet?
Last September, however, it was announced that Bloodlines 2 had changed hands from dev studio Hardsuit Labs to the Chinese Room, the studio behind evocative Explore 'em Up, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture. So, after months of silence, we've got a new release window of fall 2024. That's promising, but as a suitably skeptical vampire wannabe, I'll believe it when I see it. You know what they say, once bitten, twice shy. Or Among Us kindred, once bitten, twice drained of all your blood and left folded up in a dumpster. Less catchy, I know.
So those are some of the games that we're, as of filming, still waiting for. Hey, maybe by the time we film this and it comes out, one of the games will be announced, like the dates, or maybe it'll just surprise drop. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
luck, wouldn't it?
I mean, that, you know, that would happen.
They're
but
all out now, Ella. They've
yeah.
just been
Oh
announced on the
no.
internet.
Oh man.
Every
Well.
single one's available to download. They're
Dang
on
it.
Yeah, you get a
Oh.
copy of Silksong.
Oh
You
my
get a copy.
God! It's here! It's sorry, no, I don't know. We don't know. But if you're still waiting for these games by the time this video comes out, hey, why not fill up your time rather than hoping and hoping and hoping and waiting? You can enjoy wonderful videos that are out right now. There's one from Outside Xtra, this lovely channel, and one from Outside Xbox, the lovely channel where Andy Farron is usually residing.
Not anymore, I'm playing Silksong.
Oh, what? Oh, man!